And we're live, Pep Talk UK. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'm really enjoying this show tonight. I'm going to enjoy it. It's Otto Wallin live stream. Hopefully, he'll be joining us around 6 p.m. And get those questions in. Get those questions in. For anyone that doesn't know Otto Wallin, I'm sure everyone does. He is a 22-1 heavyweight contender who broke onto the scene in September of 2019 when he put up a great effort against Tyson Fury. He caused that massive cut over Tyson Fury's eye in I think it was the third round, and Tyson Fury had to really dig deep. So there's a lot of scope. Since then, he's had 2 fights. Most recently, Dominic Brazil, a comfortable, unanimous decision for Otto Wallin. So it'll be really interesting to see what his plans are, who he wants to fight next, and most importantly, does he think he can become a heavyweight world champion? As I say, get those questions in. We've got him for about an hour, I think, tonight, and he's gonna. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy having a nice conversation with him, asking your questions along with some of my own personal questions that I've prepared earlier, and we'll go through the career because it's really interesting. He wasn't really well known until he got this massive Tyson Fury fight in September of 2019, and since then he's been on PBC shows. He was rumored to have a rematch with Tyson in December of last year. His name was floating about along with Takam. So that'd be interesting to ask him. Do we think he's going to have a rematch with Tyson Fury? Obviously, we know Tyson Fury's got his big trilogy fight with Deontay Wilder, so we'll be asking him about that, as well as we'll ask him about the Fury AJ fight, as he's sparred Anthony Joshua and has actually fought Anthony Joshua in the amateurs. He had an extensive amateur background, Otto Wallin, and he's really pushing forward now. I think he's ranked number 16 on BoxRec. I think he's ranked number 11 with one of the governing bodies, and that's the IBF. We know Filip Hrgovic is looking for a fight. So it's going to be really interesting. Look, we'll go through some of the questions. So far, we've got Crazy D3. Are you fighting Dillian next? Dillian White? That'll be a great question to ask him. We'll really get that answered. Otto, you did great against Fury. That is what a lot of people know Otto Wallin for that fight at Tyson Fury. So that will be a big part of tonight's conversation. But in the meantime, make sure you smash that like button. Pep Talk UK, subscribe for all of the daily content we put out, and keep those questions coming in. We see here, Fish R200R. Why hasn't he called out Dillian White? We'll ask him that. We've got, this is a good one. 1-2 pivot. Lots of PBC shows coming up soon. Will he be featuring on any of them? Great question again. Let us know where you think Otto Wallin currently ranks in amongst the current heavyweight crop. As we all know, we've got Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Dillian White, Alexander Usyk, Joe Joyce. We've got a plethora of great heavyweights. Let us know where you think he ranks in amongst that group, because he shows that he could hold his own against probably everyone's top 3, a lot of people's top heavyweight in Tyson Fury. Obviously, we did know the cut impacted the fight, but I'll ask him where he ranks. We've got Haydar Mahmoud there. 10-15 for me. And I think a lot of people will say around there. after the Dominic Brazil fight, because he did look really, really solid, and a lot of people will actually rank him higher than that, going off that Dominic Brazil victory, which I think was around 2-3 months ago now. And as I say, about 5 minutes time, we'll be joined by Otto Wallin. We hope so. Anyway, and it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a really good show. Just me tonight, and we're many questions. Why hasn't he capitalized on his performance moving forward? Well, he was meant to fight Lucas Brown just in March of last year, I think, and he pulled out through injury. Since then, after the pandemic, he had one fight and then moved in to the Dominic Brazil fight. But we'll ask him about that. I see someone mention about Sweden in the Euros. Always interesting. Euros, big topic at the minute. We'll ask him about whether he was surprised by the way Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder last time out. Lucas Brown there. So keep them coming in. We've got a nice one. Iron Eccles, what do you think on road work? We'll ask him about the training. We'll ask him about the fights coming up. We'll ask him about his promotional team, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, the whole heavyweight landscape. Haydar wants to know how many fights he's looking for this year. Keep them coming in. We've got plenty of questions coming in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Pep Talk UK. Got some fantastic interviews that come out last week. We had Corey B yesterday, who we all saw that big slap, I like your cut G, to Paulie Malignaggi, who we interviewed earlier on that week. Fantastic job there. Pro Bs. And going back a couple of weeks ago, we had Dave Allen along with all our live streams. So if you haven't already, smash the subscribe button, Pep Talk UK, and share with your friends. Any boxing fan, any heavyweight boxing fan tonight, let them know Otto Wallin will be answering all of your questions. In the meantime, let us know what you think of Anthony Joshua's comments today. He made his first big interview. We'll ask him about that even. Anthony Joshua making his big interview on Sky about the massive fight. Obviously, AJ Fury collapsing. It was his first comments, really. We obviously had the press conference last week. And here we go. We have got Otto in the waiting room, Otto Wallin. And it is my pleasure to introduce him to the Pep Talk UK live stream. Otto Wallin, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic. We've got to give you a big introduction here.
Let's do
22-1. Heavyweight contender, hot off of a massive performance, a comfortable performance against Dominic Brazil, donning the Swedish international football shirt for the Euros, cheering along all the way. It is Otto Wallin.
Yeah, thank you. That was a good introduction. One of the better ones.
How are you?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic. Whereabouts are you at the moment?
I'm in New York.
In New York?
Yeah.
Have you managed to catch any Sweden games for the Euros?
Yeah, both so far. And they're playing against Poland on Wednesday, so I'm ready for that. Hopefully, we're leading the group now, so hopefully we can get a win there and win the group. That'll be good.
How have you assessed their performance so far?
Boring, but good. I think
doing the job.
Yeah, getting the job done. I mean, they drew against Spain, which is pretty good, and then they beat Slovakia 1-0. So they got 4 points, which is very good. I mean, yeah, sometimes it got to be boring.
Got to grind those results out. Do you think they'll do well against Poland?
I think so. I think so. I saw that they drew against Spain also, but I think they lost to Slovakia. So hopefully we can beat them.
Definitely, definitely. Let's get down to the boxing, though. That's what people want to hear. We'll go back to your last performance, Dominic Brazil. A lot of people said it was an absolutely astonishing performance. Outboxed Dominic Brazil, got the unanimous decision. Overall, couple of months after this fight now, how did you assess the performance?
I think it was pretty good. Did some good things in there, and as always, I think there's stuff I can improve on. So try to do that, of course. And but all in all, it's a good win, good name, and yeah, trying to move on from there.
Definitely. Did you think that Brazil would come forward more, pose more of a threat to you, or was you expecting that, Dominic Brazil?
Yeah, I thought that he was gonna, try to come after me, which he did a little bit. But I thought that I felt that he was pretty slow and couldn't really keep up with me. So I think that's the main reason why it worked the way it worked.
Mm. Did you rate Dominic as a fighter going into fight, and do you still rate him now?
Yeah, I mean he only lost to Joshua and Wilder, and so I knew there was going to be a good fight. But got beat by me now, which is all right. It happens. But I don't know where he goes from here. Maybe he'll look to fight again. I have no idea, but we'll see. I'm sure he got a couple more fights in him if he wants to, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and that's probably testament to your class, Otto, for that performance there. And where do you rank yourself right now amongst the current crop of heavyweights? Because I'm sure you agree, we've got absolutely fantastic heavyweights. We'll obviously talk about the likes of Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder later, I'm sure. But whereabouts do you rank yourself at the minute?
I think I'm up there with the big guys. I mean, I was I see myself top 10. I think I am. So I think I'm on my way. I'm always improving and always working, trying to get better. Had that fight with Fury, now Brazil. So I'm moving up there.
Definitely. And do you think you will continue to grow up those rankings until you are at a point where you're mixing it up? People are talking about you within that crop of Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I think I will. I'm 30 years old, but like I said, I feel like I'm always improving, and I feel like I'm just coming into my own now, and everything is starting to really work out for me. So I think that I'm just gonna get better and better.
Definitely. Fantastic. And we've got a couple of questions coming in from the viewers already. This is a great question. Otto, how much road work do you do? If so, how many kilometers do you run per week during a training camp? Do you find going to training, do you think running's a huge part of your training camp?
No, running is not. I do a lot of other stuff for cardio because running is hard for the body, and especially big guys like me can be very hard. And I have an injury in my foot that I got to take care of also. But I do other stuff for cardio. I do a lot of biking. I do elliptical, cross trainer, I call it, rowing, and just trying to mix it up. So I do a ton of that. I mean, I might be doing, I don't know how much. Some days I do, with the boxing and biking and cardio. Some days I do up to 5 hours of cardio that day, including the boxing. So
wow.
So yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of cardio, but not so much running because of it's heavy for the body and stuff.
Are you in training at the moment, Otto?
Yeah, I am. I just came back from the gym now, and I'm going back later.
Fantastic. Have you got a date that you're looking to fight at, or is that been confirmed, or what date are you hoping to get out?
Nothing confirmed yet, unfortunately. I was hoping to fight mid-July, but it looks like that's not gonna happen. So I just gotta keep training, and something is gonna come eventually. But right now, I don't know.
How long is your ideal training camp, Otto? Because there's a lot of fighters like longer training camps, a lot of like more condensed. What's your ideal training camp, and how do you go about your training camp on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I don't really call it a training camp because I'm always training. Maybe sparring, we'll start having that maybe 6 to 8 weeks out from a fight. Right now, we spar here and there, once a week every now and then. But when we got to fight, sparring will come in, like I said, 6 to 8 weeks before, and we do 2 or 3 times a week, and so that you could call it a training camp in that sense. But I'm always working, so usually I don't call it a training camp.
No, you certainly live the life. All about living the life, so you're always ready.
Yeah, right. I think that if you look at other sports, say track and field, you can't have guys come in and you only train for 8 weeks and expect to win a gold medal at the Olympics. You always have to be training and trying to improve.
Definitely. And you spoke briefly about sparring there. We know you've sparred a huge amount of heavyweight fighters, most notably probably Anthony Joshua. Have you been sparring any big names recently, or has the pandemic kind of stopped that, hindered that? And do you like sparring the best in the heavyweight division?
Definitely. I think that sparring is the best training you can get, as is close to a fight as you can get. So I've been always enjoying sparring, and I'm lucky to live in New York now, where there is a lot of sparring to get. So before my last fight with Brazil, I sparred Adam Kovnatsky, I sparred Zhang Chile, sparred. Who else did I spar? Cassius Shaney before that. So different guys, a lot of different guys. And there's a ton of fighters here in New York. So that's really good, because it was always hard for me to find sparring in Scandinavia, where I was before. So this is really good. And that's also keeping me improving. I think that sparring is very important.
Are you a believer in hard sparring, Otto, or do you take it like more technical sparring?
We actually, over here, it's always kind of like hard sparring, I would say.
Oh, wow.
I think that it's good to have a mix. It's good to have a mix of both. But I've noticed the culture over here in the US is more that every sparring is a fight almost. So, you got to take it as what it is, and just, be ready for it. I think that hard sparring is very important, and technical sparring could be also good.
Are you ever worried, Otto, about there's been a lot in the news over the past couple of years about hard sparring will lead to maybe kind of brain damage later on in life, or do you strongly believe that the way you spar and the frequency of it will impact you as much as you let it impact you?
Yeah. Taking hits to the head is not good. So you gotta control it, and so that's why when I don't have a fight, we don't do a lot of sparring. And since my last fight with Brazil, that was in February. Now I sparred, I think, 3 times with somebody, and just getting the work in and working with each other, not too hard, but it's serious. It's still serious sparring, but I try to have long breaks, so try to take care of my head, and that's also why I don't spar every day when I have a fight. So. My last 2 fights, we've been sparring a couple times a week, and keep it at that, and for like 6 to 8 weeks, like I said earlier. But you have to be careful, because, like I said, it's never good to take hits to the head. It's part of boxing, so you have to do it. You're gonna get hit, but you gotta control it as much as you can. And if you have a tough fight, you should probably take some weeks off and months off, from getting hit in the head. And also, trying to work on your neck muscles and your body to get stronger so you can absorb it better. But the best way is not to get hit at all. So defense is also very important. And we work that a lot.
Is that a big part of your game then, the defense aspect of it when sparring? And do you change the way you fight in sparring compared to fight night?
Yes, of course. The fight is always a little bit different. But I think that I'm always working defense and in sparring. I never try to be reckless or anything. I try to be calculated and smart, and I'm aware of the risks with boxing. I had a friend in Sweden, Erik Skoglund. He had a brain bleed after I had a tough fight, and then he was sparring after that and stuff, and then he had a brain bleed. So we're aware of the risks. So, but nobody forces us to fight. So when we fight, we just gotta be smart and take care of ourselves.
Of course, and it's a calculated risk.
Yeah.
We'll speak about, obviously, probably the biggest fight of your career up to now, the Tyson Fury fight. In many ways, it really pushed you onto the map in the mainstream boxing fandom, and a lot of people do know you for the Viking warrior that cut open Tyson Fury. So first of all, just how did that fight with Tyson come about, and when did you first hear about it?
I heard about that. Just got a message from my team saying, "Hey, we've been offered to fight Fury in September, I think it was." Yeah. And are you interested? I said, "Yeah, of course." And I didn't think too much of it because I know sometimes they just reach out to people and to see who's available and whatnot. But then, as days progressed, it seemed like they really wanted to fight me. So that's how it happened.
Yeah, and then obviously as it progressed, you started looking at Tyson Fury. Had you been a fan of Tyson Fury? Had he been a heavyweight that you respected?
Yeah, I respect him, of course. He's, I watched him a lot in the past and most of his fights. And, when he beat Klitschko, that was a great fight. And so we were aware of him. But then, of course, when we had the fight, I really had to study him more and come up with a good game plan, me and my trainer.
Yeah. In the build up to the fight, obviously he's known for being a controversial, quite outlandish figure. Did you find him respectful? Did you get along with him in the build up?
Yeah, we met, I think, a couple times before. And, he seemed like a cool guy to me. And he didn't mess with me too much, I would say.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, of course. And we'll talk about the actual fight then. So it was a huge event. Las Vegas, obviously. Tyson Fury come out in his big Mexican mask and everything like that. In the moment, was you just focused in on boxing, one of the best heavyweights in Tyson Fury, or was you like, wow, and kind of got caught up in the event, or was you really focused on not getting caught up on the event?
Yeah, I was really focused. I had been dreaming about a fight like that since I was a kid. So
yeah,
I try to enjoy it and say, hey, I mean, it's finally here. I mean, I worked for this for so long, and now it's finally here. You just gotta enjoy it and go out and do my very best. And I've been watching a lot of fights over the years, and I think that's been preparing me for that moment. To see even at TV, you see the big arenas and the big stars and stuff. So I think I had a good idea of what I got myself into, and I felt like I was ready for it.
Opening bell then. Tyson Fury comes out. You meet in the middle of the ring. What was you thinking? What game plan did you formulate to beat, at that time, the lineal heavyweight champion, not the WBC, in Tyson Fury?
I remember I thought to myself, when the bell rang, I thought to myself, hey, the moment is finally here. Just go out now and do it. Just go after him. So that's what I was trying to do. And with our game plan, we had a really good game plan. Try to take away his awkwardness and stuff. And also we felt like nobody really hits him to the body. So he's got a good upper body movement and defense. So I tried to hit him to the body a lot. And I think that it was working pretty good for us, our game plan. And I really got a smart team around me, good trainer in Joey Gamache, which I'm really thankful for. So it was good.
And then we go to, I think it was round 3, where Tyson obviously got the horrific cut. What was your mindset when you see the blood pouring down his face? Was you tempted to just jump on him, or was it important for you to remain relaxed?
Yeah, it was a mix. I mean, I was happy, of course, when I saw the blood, because it happens, and I was happy for that. But I knew that if I was just trying to go after it, he was gonna play in his favor, because he's a smart fighter. So I tried to stay to my game plan. Maybe I got off of it from a little bit, since I thought to myself also that, hey, it's a huge cut, one more punch and that would be it. So yeah, it was a little bit of both. I tried to stay to the game plan, but it was very hard.
Did you think then at any point that the doctor was going to stop the fight, the ref would have stopped the fight, or even the corner? Do you think that cut at any point was too bad that the fight should have been stopped?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he had actually 2 cuts, one above the eye and one on the eyelid, and both were pretty bad. So when the doctor was looking at it, I thought that they were going to stop it, and I would have been the winner. But that's boxing sometimes, and he fought like a warrior. He didn't want to give up, so I respect him for that.
100%. And then after the fight, obviously it didn't go your way, but what was your mindset? Was you like obviously just gutted that you lost the fight, or was you grateful for the opportunity? And in a way, it has propelled your career.
It has, of course. I was there to win. I did.
Yeah, of course.
I was there to win, so I was a little bit disappointed, but at the same time, I really gave it my all. I did. I mean, I don't think I could have done anything more in that fight, and I just gave it my all. I came close, but it wasn't all there. But I know now that it has really propelled my career, and I got a good deal with Showtime, and I've been getting good fights. So I just got to keep working and keep training and rack up experience, and I think it will all work out for me, and hopefully I can get another shot.
100%. And Simone Smurthwaite says, "Does Fury have pillow fists?"
I think it was Wilder that said that. So
yeah, it was.
Wilder. Wilder, he comes up with all these different excuses. So I guess he doesn't have pillow fists.
No. And did you feel his power at any point, or was you uncomfortable with his power at any point of the fight?
Not really, but he's a big guy, so if he hits you the right spot, of course, it's gonna hurt. Not that I was hurt anything, but big guy, so it's gonna hurt. But he's more of a boxer than a puncher. Maybe we see with this next fight with Wilder. They say they worked a lot on his power, so we see how it looks.
Of course, and then obviously from yourself, Tyson went into the second fight with Deontay Wilder. Did you expect it to go the way it did in the heavy knockout of the WBC champion in Deontay Wilder?
I didn't think that Fury was going to do it, but I knew that somebody was going to do that to Wilder. I didn't think that was Fury's style, but he really did a good job. He just ran him over. Actually, I said in an interview before that fight that I felt like somebody is just going to come in there and do that. And Fury did it. He did a great job that night. And I'm just confused with all the excuses that Wilder has. Loading the gloves and stuff. That's nonsense. You have commissioners, you have trainers, and your own people looking at his hands getting wrapped and put the gloves on and everything. So I have no idea how they would load the gloves when everybody's watching.
Yeah, did you find that disrespectful at all?
Yeah, I think it's disrespectful, and I mean towards Fury and also Mark Breland, because he's been going after him too and saying that he was on Fury's team and stuff, which is it's nonsense. He was looking out for him. Wilder looked terrible in that fight, and he saved him, so he should be thankful to him.
Do you think there'll be any difference in the third fight? Obviously, I think it's the 24th of July. Do you think we'll see a different result, or do you think it will be repeat?
I think that Fury is gonna win, but Wilder, he can come back. He's very dangerous. He's got great power, so he can always knock you out. But I think that Fury is gonna win. Is it gonna be that easy again? I don't know. Maybe, could be.
What do you make of the switch to the new trainer with Malik Scott to partner up with Deontay Wilder?
I don't know. I don't know how much experience Malik Scott has, but seem to be working on some different stuff. I think it's going to be hard to really change Wilder much. He's relying on his power, and like Fury says, when he gets back in the ring and starts getting hit again, I think he's going to go back to his old self. And it's hard. It's got to be big shoes to fill for Malik Scott. He has to come in and train the former heavyweight champion. I don't know how much experience he has with that.
Yeah, of course. And obviously, you've been in the ring with Fury. If you was to give advice to not just Deontay Wilder, but any boxer on how to beat Tyson, how would it be?
I would say you gotta be aggressive to take out his awkwardness. Take that away from him, because he likes to dance and showboat and stuff. Have his hands behind his back. So I think that you gotta throw shots. You gotta hit the body, and also be aggressive. I think that once he gets comfortable, he's very dangerous.
100%. And obviously, the fact that we're getting Fury Wilder means that we're not getting the undisputed fight with Anthony Joshua. Not just as a boxer, but as a boxing fan, Otto, was you gutted that we didn't get to see that one?
I was actually. I would like to see that fight. That would be great. Now Wilder came out of nowhere and got the third fight. So I think it is what it is. Hopefully both guys can get through these fights, and we will see that soon enough.
Who do you think wins? Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. I know you shared the ring both in amateurs, pros, and sparring. Who do you think wins?
I think that both guys are great fighters. I think they're, number 1 and 2 in the world. But for me, I just think Fury is a little better. And he's very confident and he knows what he's good at. So I think that would be the difference.
Okay, then. So obviously you haven't actually fought Anthony Joshua in the pro ranks, but would you like to fight Anthony Joshua, get an opportunity at this time, the 3 belts?
Of course, yeah. I mean, like I said, he's one of the best, and I want to fight the best, and I want to fight for the heavyweight championship.
And how much of a chance do you give Alexander Usyk in his fight against Anthony Joshua, if we believe what we're hearing about the fight nearly being made?
I think that it could turn out pretty good fight. I think Joshua would be the favorite, but Usyk is a good fighter. Solid foundation, good amateur background, and he was a great cruiserweight. He hasn't looked that good at heavyweight, but styles makes fights. So I think it's going to be interesting, but the favorite should be Joshua.
Yeah. Do you think that Usyk's too small for heavyweight? Obviously, we've seen him against Derek Chisora most recently. And do you think he's got time to transition to a heavyweight that can beat Anthony Joshua?
That's what it looks like. He was great as cruiserweight, but he hasn't been that good at heavyweight. So he might be a little too small. That might just be what it is.
Okay. And talking about you and your future, Otto, we spoke about Dominic Brazil. We spoke about yourself believing that you are a top 10 heavyweight. What's next for Otto Wallin? If you could choose one opponent to boost yourself right into the mix, who would it be?
I think that Charles Martin will be a good fight.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. And has it been spoken about at all with management and obviously Showtime?
Yeah, it has. He doesn't seem available right now.
Okay.
So hopefully, when he gets available, I get my hands on him.
And what type of opponent do you think you'll be given next, Otto? Do you think it will be a lower level opponent to set up a fight like Charles Martin, or will you be given a natural progression from the Dominic Brazil fight?
Yeah, I'm expecting somebody a little better, and I think that would be Charles Martin. So
yeah,
I think it's somebody around that level.
Okay, I saw some small murmurs about, I think it might have even been from Eddie Hearn, about a potential Dillian Whyte fight if Dillian Whyte came to the US. Is that a fight you'd be open to, Dillian Whyte?
Yeah, I will. I haven't heard anything though, but
no,
that could be a good fight also.
Do you rate him as a heavyweight boxer? Obviously, he's avenged his defeat against Alexander Povetkin.
Yeah, of course. I think he's one of the best. He's one of the, what can he be? Maybe top 5, I would say, because he's been fighting good opposition and he's been doing well. And he came back good with Povetkin actually, and surprised me a little bit how easy he handled him.
Oh, really? Did you think that he'd lose twice?
No, I didn't think that he was gonna lose. I knew that he could get knocked out like the first fight, but I think that he was gonna play it safe and win a decision.
What did you think of that uppercut landed by Alexander Povetkin in heavyweight boxing? That just shows that anything can be changed by one punch.
Right, and it was a beautiful shot. Came out of nowhere. He was losing the fight and then just dropped the hammer.
Here we go. We got a question from Hebrew Yeruslight. What fighter do you know that gains punching power towards the end of their career? What fighter do you think can grow in power?
I think that, heavyweights can always improve, and I think most guys can. But punching power has a lot to do with technique, but also getting stronger and better. And I feel like myself, I feel like I'm getting stronger now. I'm really kind of a late bloomer, I would say.
Okay.
So I'm getting strong in the gym and working on my power and everything. And I feel like that's improving. And I feel like if you do the right things, you can always improve your punching power.
Definitely. And you say you're a late bloomer. How long do you think you've got left in the game? You're 30 years old now. You say you want to move into that top 5, the elite level, mixing around at contender now. How long do you think you've got left?
I would say at least 5 years, I think.
Oh, wow.
I haven't taken a lot of damage in my career and just coming into my own. So I would say at least 5 years.
Okay. And we've got Fish R200R says Otto beats Martin fairly easy. So he's a supporter there, Otto. And we had a question here that just trying to get up.
Yeah.
It was referring to Robert Helenius. He said it would be a huge fight for Scandinavia. Here we go. Why not fight Helenius? Be a big fight for Scandinavia. Is that a name you're looking forward to? And it would be a marquee fight for the Scandinavia area.
It would be, yeah. I think that's a good fight, and we see what happens here with him and Adam. I think they're fighting on the Fury Wilder card. So
yeah, I heard that.
What happens with them? Maybe can make that fight happen after.
You said you sparred Adam Kaunaki recently. Do you think that Adam can avenge his loss to Robert, or do you think we'll see the same scenario as the first fight just before the pandemic?
No, I think he can avenge his loss. I think that he was winning the first fight, and I felt like he was on the brink of stopping him, and then he got knocked out. But he can avenge his loss.
And if Helenius was to lose to Kaunaki, is that fight you'd still want, or would you only be interested in fighting him if he did come through Kaunaki once more?
I think mostly it would be the best if he won. Loses, not really the same thing. Can still make it happen, but it all depends. It's got to make sense for me.
Definitely. And would you like to have that big fight in Scandinavia, some parts there, maybe in your hometown?
That would be awesome. That would be the best. I mean, 2 Scandinavian fighters should fight over there, I think.
I think it would be a huge event, and obviously we're seeing huge events in the UK coming back now around the world. We're seeing it with the opening. We spoke about the Euros. We're seeing more fans in stadiums than others, but we are seeing some fans. How much do you think that affects the fights at the minute, with there being a lack of fans, or in some cases, certainly at the start of the pandemic, no fans?
Yeah, my last 2 fights was with no fans, and it feels really like a training or sparring session. So it was strange, very strange, and can't wait to the fights for the crowds to come back. It feels so much better when they are there.
Yeah, definitely. And we saw it with Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders. How amazing and electric. I don't know if you saw it, but that was an absolutely fantastic atmosphere there. And I bet you can't wait to get back to that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just waiting for that. And hopefully for my next fight, there will be a crowd.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. Obviously, I hope so. I think the whole world hopes so, that we're kind of starting to get back to some normality now.
Yeah.
And we've got a big thank you, $4.99 donation. The signature, he says, Otto, the second greatest Swedish player after Zlatan. I would love to see you fight White or Dubois. Popular guy. Well done. So first of all, Zlatan, obviously football legend, but are you a better sportsman than Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Otto? That's the first question.
That's a tough one. I got to give that to him.
Oh, really? Really? What about calling him out for a little boxing match? He seems to be an absolutely peak physical shape at the age of 40 or whatever he is. Do you think you could give him a little training session if he wanted to step his toe into boxing?
For sure. I know he's done some taekwondo when he was younger.
Okay.
Yeah. So as long as there's no kicks, I should beat him.
Hey, have you ever met Zlatan?
No, I haven't. I'm still waiting for it.
Still waiting for that moment.
Yeah.
Still waiting for that moment. And the signature always also said, I would love to see you fight Dillian White or Daniel Dubois. We spoke about the Dillian White fight, but what about Daniel Dubois? I don't know if you saw, he obviously got beaten by Joe Joyce late last year, and he had his comeback fight against Dinu, knocked him out in the second round. Daniel Dubois carries a lot of power. Is that a fight you'd like to potentially engage him?
Yeah, for sure. I think that Daniel is a good fighter. He lost to Joyce, but I really rate Joyce. I think he's very good, and I think he's better than what a lot of people think. And yeah, that would be a good fight.
What do you think about Joe Joyce versus Carlos Takam then? That's just been announced for London. Do you think that's a good fight, and do you think Joe Joyce could come through it?
That's gonna be interesting. I think that Takam is just too small for him, and he might be able to stop him. We'll see, but it's gonna be interesting, because Takam is a good fighter.
And we saw an absolute war a couple of years back on the undercard of Dillian White versus Joseph Parker with Carlos Takam versus Derek Chisora. And I think a lot of people are expecting the same because style-wise, I think Carlos Takam and Joe Joyce could really be an all-action heavyweight fight.
Yeah, for sure.
Talking there, obviously, we'll speak about Derek Chisora then. Absolutely massive character. And it seems to me like he's had 10 losses now, but he still puts bums on seats because he's just that huge character in the sport. He's incredibly controversial. Is that a fight that you would look at taking? Because it seems like no matter how many defeats he has on his record, he's still a big name.
Yeah, he is, and he always comes back good. So I'm open to that also. There's a lot of good fighters out there, and yeah, see what happens.
A lot of great British fighters as well. So would you like to potentially come over to the UK, have a big fight? We're known for our crazy fans. Would you like to experience that?
Yeah, I honestly think that the UK fans are one of the better and maybe the best boxing fans in the world. So that'd be awesome. I was there, fought as an amateur with Joshua.
Yeah,
I was there, I think, a couple of times, and I would like to come back.
Have you ever been to a professional boxing event in the UK as a fan?
Yeah. I saw Kell Brook fight one time.
Oh wow, yeah.
With Joshua. He fought in
fantastic. In Sheffield.
Yeah, it was a good atmosphere.
Absolutely amazing. And did you kind of feel that atmosphere in Vegas when you fought Tyson Fury? Because a lot of UK fans travelled over to Vegas.
Yeah. No, it was great. There was a lot of UK fans, a lot of Mexicans, and it was a good atmosphere there.
We've got a great question from 1-2 Pivot. What makes Joey Gamache such a good trainer?
I think that Joe is a very smart guy, and he knows how to keep it simple and to keep it to things that work. And it doesn't always have to be so flashy, but you got to keep, the basics and the repetition. To really get good at something, you have to repeat it over and over, and that's what we're doing. And apart from that, he's a great guy and somebody that's really looking out for me. And he's been a world champion, so he knows what it takes, and he also knows his way around all the business in boxing. So overall, he's a great trainer.
And are you living out in New York at the minute now, or are you just there for training? Or what's your living situation?
No, I'm living here. I've been here for almost 4 years now.
Oh, wow. You spoke about the opportunity for sparring, but overall, obviously, you're now got to deal with Showtime. Do you think that it's helped your boxing career moving over to the States?
It has, for sure, especially with sparring and getting all those guys for sparring, and then also being a place where there is a lot of boxing and a lot of fights going on, and just boxing is so much bigger over here, so everything's better.
How big is boxing in Sweden then? Because I'm not too sure about this at all. Really, is it like a sport that a lot of obviously children start off boxing, or is it kind of more of a niche sport?
Yeah, it's more niche. The biggest sports are soccer and ice hockey, and I was doing that when I was a kid too. And I feel like everybody's doing that. And boxing, professional boxing, was forbidden for a long time.
Oh
Now
wow.
it's back, so that's good. But it's not a very big sport over there.
Do you think it will grow eventually? Because obviously you're saying it was frowned upon. Do you think it has potential to grow? Obviously with a big name like yourself, but some people may even say pioneering it. Do you think that it can get bigger?
Yeah, I think it can. I think it is getting bigger also. We had good fighters like Badu Jack,
Yeah.
myself, and other guys. And I just feel like we need really just a big star to really stand out and get the people behind him. Hopefully, I can be that guy. And having a fight like Helena's over there, I think that would help too.
And definitely, and to say you were the first Swedish heavyweight world champion, that'd be a huge thing. And do you think it's possible, Otto?
That's not possible because I would be the second.
Really?
Yeah, we had one heavyweight world champion, Ingemar Johansson.
My mistake. Of course, my mistake. Of course, my mistake.
Yeah,
but what would it mean to you to become a heavyweight world champion?
I mean, that would mean everything. Everything I've worked for such a long time now, and all the work I put in and all the sacrifice will pay off. And yeah, that's what I want to do.
Fantastic. And we got another question from Hebrew. Question is, Otto, is there any fighter you would like to call out right now? Is that your star, Otto? What fighter?
Yeah, that would be Charles Martin. I want him. Yeah, it's an easy fight to make also because I fight on Showtime. It's with the PVC. So,
do you think he wants that fight?
I don't know. They say it's not available right now, but hopefully he will get available.
Hopefully, because it'd be a fantastic fight, and I would really like to see that. But you said Charles Martin. What would in the ideal Otto Wallin world, what would be your next 3 opponents?
Oh, that's hard. What would it be? Charles Martin, Wilder, and Fury.
Wow, yeah. So get back to your old rival with Tyson Fury in a fantastic rematch. And I don't know whether there was any real truth to this. I don't know. I'm sure you tell me, but late last year there was whispers in the UK that your name was actually in the hat for a fight with Tyson Fury in London for December. Is there any truth to that at all? Was it ever mentioned?
Yeah, I tried to get it because he was gonna fight and he was gonna fight somebody that dropped out, I think, or something like that.
So yeah, I think he was gonna fight. I heard 3 names. I heard yourself, I heard Carlos Takan, and I heard Caballero.
Yeah, so I just went out there and said I want to fight. It didn't happen for some reason. He didn't fight. So yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
Cool. Yeah, no. Combat Study as well says Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz obviously signed to PBCs. He had that huge upset against Anthony Joshua, former world champion. Is that a fight? I think star-wise, I think that'd be a fantastic fight. But is that a fight you'd be open to? And do you think you could beat Andy Ruiz Jr.?
Yeah, I think so. Joshua showed how to beat him already. Maybe he didn't prepare like he should have, but I think that would be a good fight too. I think that there's a lot of good fights out there. It just has to make sense.
We spoke about your home nation of Sweden briefly, Otto, but what was it that got you into boxing, and not just got you into boxing, but made you have that passion for it? Because I know your father played a huge role in it.
Yeah, my father was a boxer and was a trainer after his career, and also my older brother used to be a boxer. So that's how I got into it, and from the first day I went to the gym, I really liked it, and I knew that was what I wanted to do, and so I just stuck with it.
What did you always have that talent there, Otto, or was it something that you constantly worked at?
I think I had talent, but also I was working very hard, and I came to the gym every day to work out, and I think it was both. I think you need both. You got to work hard, and you need some sort of talent, I think.
And obviously, you had a lot of amateur fights. You won a lot of tournaments. But overall, Otto, what would you say is your greatest achievement in boxing as so far?
I mean, honestly, my biggest win is with Brazil. I had that fight with Fury, but I didn't win. But it was a good performance. So I think the best is yet to come.
Fantastic, yeah, and I sincerely hope so, and I sincerely hope for some big fights because I just get the feeling, and we see it online, that you're just a really likable character. You're just you're not flash. You don't come out making outlandish comments. You're just a fighter, and
Yeah.
I think that's why a lot of people can relate to you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try to keep it simple and just try to do my work in the ring, and that's how I carry myself, I think.
Brilliant. And One Two Pivot says, what made you decide to sign with Showtime, and what are their plans for you?
I think they made us the best offer with the most flexibility, and financial reasons was good too. I think they've been pretty good to me, and we've been working out. We had 2 fights so far. We got 2 more fights on this deal. So I think it was a good offer all in all.
Did you have any other offers on the table?
I did have. I have from ESPN. I have from Don King. That's the ones I've heard about.
Of course. And you mentioned obviously ESPN, PBC, Don King, but what do you make of the other big promoter from outside of the pond, Eddie Hearn? He's obviously just signed a huge deal in the UK to show DAZN, and DAZN are making big waves in the US now. What do you make of him as a promoter, and have you had any interactions with him?
Not really. I met him when I was over there in England, but business-wise, I don't think so. Maybe he's talked to my team. I'm not sure. But they're doing a good job. They got a lot of good fighters putting on good shows, and they got Canelo now and everything. So they seem to be doing really good.
Definitely. Obviously, Canelo, a huge event. We spoke about Billy Joe Canelo. Devin Haney versus Jorge Linares most recently in Vegas. Is that a big thing then? Obviously, Vegas, just as an example for opening up, and it now looks like we're getting bigger fights made. Do you think we need fans for these big fights to be made?
I don't know. It's definitely gonna help to have the fans back to make big fights, and a part of me thinks that you need a big crowd to make a really special event, and a fight like Fury and Joshua, it would be kind of crazy to have it without fans.
Yeah, exactly. And what do you think about then the plans to take it to Saudi Arabia? Do you think it's a fight that should be held in the UK, or do you think it could be brought over to the US, or is it all about the money at the end of the day?
I mean, it's easy for me to say that it shouldn't be all about the money. I mean, they're making huge money, and even more if they bring it over to Saudi Arabia. Honestly, I would like to see it in the UK because that's where both guys are from, and there would be a huge event and great for boxing over there. If they want to bring it to Saudi Arabia, I think it is what it is, and that's just how the ball bounces.
So if there was two, yourself was a heavyweight champion and there was another heavyweight champion from Sweden, would you want to make that fight in Sweden? Would you be passionate about that, or would you maybe take more money to fight in Saudi Arabia?
I mean, it's hard for me to say that I would bring it to Sweden, but it's easy to say for me to say that I would bring it to Sweden. That's what I would like to. But when you have money like that on the table, it's got to be harder to say no. But I think for Swedish boxing, it would be great to have a huge event like that.
Definitely. The growth, obviously, I just think boxing in general, we see we see like Matchroom, for example, with the zone, they're expanding onto a global level. So if obviously in the future you say you've got 2 more fights with Showtime, if a global company come to you and said, look, we want to launch in Sweden and we want you to be the figurehead of that, is that something you'd be passionate about doing?
Yeah, for sure. That would be nice, and I would be open to it.
Fantastic. And we've got another question here. Zacharias Trulis says, what advice can you give to someone deciding on turning pro in this day and age?
I think that they really have to put their work in, and maybe not rush to just become a pro, but try to have the amateur background and try to make contacts with the right people. Because if you want to turn pro, you want to do it with the right people, and you want to make sure you're not just an opponent for them. And take your time. Don't have to rush. If the time is not right, then keep working and keep getting amateur fights and get some experience. And then when you find good people, if you want to go with them. And most importantly, just keep working hard.
Brilliant. Yeah, the work ethic, in my opinion, is a huge thing, and you've got to work hard in any sector, but especially boxing. And we've got Mitchell Balzan. Sorry, what is Otto's opinion on Triller? Triller, obviously, new big company. It varies opinions. Quite controversial, Triller. But what's your opinion on it, Otto?
I think it is what it is. I think that people wants to pay to watch these guys fight, and somebody like Mike Tyson and them, I have no problem with them fighting. The YouTubers, I mean, if they want to fight, they can fight, and people watch to pay them fight, and they draw big audiences. So I mean, why not? I can't knock that, really.
Yeah, and what did you think of Mayweather versus Logan Paul?
I didn't watch it. I watched some clips after, and seemed like Mayweather got a little older, but the guy was big and strong, I think. So I don't know if he wants to fight. If Mayweather wants to fight, he can fight. I mean, he's he can make his own decisions.
And if Logan Paul, after the fight, got on the mic and said, Otto Wallin, I want you next, would you be up to having one of these crazy fights with Logan Paul or another YouTuber of that caliber, or are you tunnel visioned on a heavyweight world champion?
I mean, it sounds like they're making big money, so
yeah.
If the offer will be good enough, I'll take it.
You think it'd be easy work for you?
I think so. Yes.
We've got 1-2 pivot again. Says, are you good at any other sports besides boxing, Otto?
I'm okay at a lot of things. I mean, I used to play soccer, ice hockey. I haven't played ice hockey in a long time, so I don't know. But I like ping pong. I play some golf, so I can do a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Are you fans of any other sport? Are you a sports type of man?
Yeah, I don't follow too much right now, but like the Europeans, the Euros, I follow that.
Yeah.
I don't follow a ton of sport. I follow boxing, mostly heavyweight boxing. But I watch it every now and then, and when there's big events, I watch different sports.
Of course, and you say heavyweight boxing, then obviously a massive fan. There's been a lot of discussion recently about this era of heavyweight boxing, the era of Joshua and Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, along with the other guys, because there's a lot of depth, such as yourself. You speak about Charles Martin, Joe Joyce, Andy Ruiz Jr., Dillian White. How do you compare this era to the glory eras of the past, maybe with the 70s with Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier and George Foreman, or go to the 90s with Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis? How good is this era right now?
I think it's pretty good. I feel like the division was on lockdown for a while with the Klitschko's, but
yeah,
I think that it's much better now, and it's a lot of good fighters, some guys up and coming, and good competition. So I think that I think that anybody at the top can get beat, and I think that's good for the sport and for the division, and it brings more action.
Definitely, and it brings more action, and that is what we love. We love heavyweight boxing. We love boxing. That's why we're here. And most importantly, thank you for your time today, Otto Wallin. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you, and I can't wait to see what happens next in your career. I hope you get the big fights. I want to see them. And thank you very much for joining today and answering our questions.
Sure. Thank you very much for having me, and maybe I can be back sometime soon.
Definitely. We'll have you back whenever. Thank you very much, Otto Wallin. And I'll see you soon, my friend.
All right. Thank you. See you later.
See ya. Bye. So that was Otto Wallin. Thank you so much for getting involved in the conversation. I found it really interesting getting to know and speak to Otto Wallin, his plans for the future. He really wants that Charles Martin fight. He wants Deontay Wilder. He wants Tyson Fury. He'd love that Anthony Joshua fight. He'd love to even fight in Sweden in the huge fights. And he just comes across to me as a really great boxing guy. Once again, thank you for getting involved in the conversation. Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button. And until next time, thanks for watching.